Nols, you can start with this one. So can you tell us about sharding and how that works in Data Vault?
Oh, this is going to date me. Okay, sharding. Uh, let's just demystify sharding as such. The techniques that, if you're an old fossil like myself, we used to call these things partitioning. And so sharding and partitioning is, in essence, from an ideas perspective, largely similar. I know, I get it. Some of the technologies out there have put a twist on it and, expanded on the technical capabilities and all the rest. But largely from a concept perspective, it's very similar. So how does it work in Data Vault? It works very well if you understand how to get the best performance out of whatever chosen platform or technology you're dealing with. So if your platform does support sharding, then again, understanding the behaviors and the query patterns that are most frequently required in your data set, sharding will benefit tremendously from that understanding. So it does depend on your technology and it does depend on your platform as to what the extent or the features and functions necessarily would be. So I can't go and give you an exact uh, definition for each one of the varying platforms out there that does support sharding formally or partitioning, otherwise known. And so from that perspective, you need to understand your query patterns to get the best out of your sharding in due course. So, and of course, sharding is two-dimensional. It's just basically it is what you have in front of you, and if the business questions change, the sharding may need to be revisited. Your mileage may vary, again, depending on the tech. Some platforms do not suffer the same kind of reorganizational maintenance as others. I will not name and shame. I'll leave it just at that statement.
Anything to add, Michael?
Yeah, so first of all, I agree with Notes. Especially in large data sets, you really want to control or design your data layout, let's say that. On the other hand, what you see also is that in data vaults, there are some certain concepts that play hand in hand now. First of all, there's some patterns how we derive dimensions and facts. Dimensions is essentially selected where you select from the hub or the business keys and then join the satellite deltas, while facts is primarily focused on the links, where you join from the granularity from the links and then join the satellites attached to the links. That's a basic pattern. So you always join from the parent to the satellites. And what we do in Data Vault in order to distribute records across the MPP cluster, we always distribute shard by the hash key. The cool thing now is when you follow this distribution layout, at least for the 99% of your data, in this case, the hash key of the business key is the same as the hash key in a delta describing the business key. It must be the same because it's based on the same business key. So the hash key is the same. What happens is if that becomes your primary index, your records will stay on the same node. And that means that the dimension member, for example, stays on the same node with the business key and the descriptions from the satellites, and we can join the descriptions to the business key inside the node without essentially having queries running across nodes, which we want to prevent because of performance issues. So we want to join inside the node. What happens next is, then let's say you have thousands of nodes where all your dimension members are stored, all your facts. Every node has a subset of the dimension members or a subset of the fact records. The node can join the records together, and then the slave nodes or the compute nodes, they will send then the records to the master node, where these these dimension members will be unionized. So that pattern, how we distribute the records based on the hash key by default and the query patterns, that goes along essentially. And that's the cool thing, and it's by design actually.
And sharding and partition, so sharding and distribution and so on is used interchangeably in a number of different vendor conversations and vendor and technologies.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was very careful with the definition of sharding, because of this confusion that exists in the marketplace between sharding, distribution, and sometimes they use to say meaning the same thing, and sometimes it means it's actually different. And you can have both.
Yep.
Sharding and bucketing is the other technical term if you want to really look into it, and a combination of both. So an excellent question. Perhaps a definition of exactly what the sharding was pointing to could help. But essentially, thanks for the question. That's a good one.
Is it only ever done for performance reasons? Is there other reasons why people do that?
Massive data volume, because just in order to process massive data volume, you need to have a cluster system in place somehow, right? And for that, you need to decide how to distribute the records on the cluster, essentially.
Yeah, great. Yep. Well, that was just my question for my knowledge. So,
Mm.
because there's obviously some people joining that aren't quite as technical as both of you. So, I thought I'd clarify that.